So now let's dive in and actually do something interesting with MoonDream. So MoonDream has a caption function. So what the caption function does is simply a function where you're able to feed it an image and then it will automatically create a caption for you. So the first thing that we need to do is in VS Code, we need to open up a workspace. And in that workspace, basically the image file that we're going to be interacting with, that has to be in that folder, and the model that you're going to be using has to be in that folder. So the first thing for this particular lab is that you have to open up your workspace in VS Code, and basically once you open up the workspace, that is going to be your current working directory, and in that directory, this is where you're going to need to store the image, the picture that you're going to be interacting with, and the model. So basically just through the normal, File Explorer, dump the image and the model into whatever folder you want to use for this particular project. Then with Workspace, open up the workspace into that particular folder. So here, basically I'm just going to be using imp2.jpg. So this is Andre and this is me at the ATO. All Things Open conference in Research Triangle. And so what I'm going to want is I want a caption of this image. So here's the code for the project. I'll explain that to you in a minute. The first thing that I want to do is actually run this script though, so you can get an idea of what the caption looks like. If you come down here, it's going to print caption. So we're actually going to get a dictionary back. And so this is going to print the full dictionary. Then we're just going to put some stars to separate the dictionary return from just the caption that we want, just to kind of show you how that works. All we need to do then is we just simply need to run the script, and then we get to do the white boy dance for a little bit. So this is the first class in the series. So I won't do a jump cut here, just so you do see how long this takes. Just so you realize I'm not just being snarky, that it does take a little while. In the follow-on classes that we're going to do, I will just jump cut, so you don't have to sit here and see me do the white boy dance for however long this is going to take. But there you go. So again, this is what I want you to think about. This is running on an M2 Max, 1.5-year-old MacBook Pro, and it took that long. Again, very impressive in many ways, but you got to be thinking about that speed for your particular environment. If we go up and we take a look at this, so this is when it ran, and then we can see caption. So again, this is coming back as a dictionary. We're going to come back down here, and we just want to see the caption itself. So again, this is what MoonDream sees. The image shows two men standing side by side in what appears to be a hallway or storage area. The man on the left is wearing a black hoodie and a lanyard with a logo, while the man on the right is wearing a blue hoodie and a lanyard with a logo. The background features a wooden wall with a mix of light and dark brown tones, and a window is visible in the upper left corner. The men are smiling and appear to be in a casual setting, and if you correspond that to that, that looks about right. So this is what we're talking about with using MoonDream in order to automatically create a caption for an image. So the script here is incredibly easy. Again, one of my catchphrases for about the past 2 years when it comes to AI is that AI is hard. APIs are not, right? This isn't quite an API, but it's close enough. Using modules are not, right? A lot of people, when they want to get into the world of AI, they want to get in the world of technology, there's this idea of like, oh my golly, I'm not smart enough to do it. How will I ever be smart enough and capable enough to be able to create projects in AI? And it's like, well, I'm pretty sure you can copy and paste 14 lines of code and then just tweak the things that need to be tweaked. Do you think you can do that? Then you too can do AI, right? It's all incredibly simple. Right, so import MoonDream as MD. So I'm using this from their default. They have a default script. I'm using this from their default script just to keep everything in line if you go back to do some troubleshooting or searching in the future. So they're using an alias here. So import MoonDream as MD. So we're going to be interacting with MoonDream as MD. From pill, import image. So from the pillow module, we're going to be importing the image function. We are going to be doing this for all of our different lessons. Model equals MD, so MD, right, .vl, so there's a VL function, and this is where we're going to load the model. So */ and then the model we're going to be using, MoonDream to be int8 dot Again, for me, it's going to be MF. For you, it might be mf.gz. Put in whatever corresponds to whatever it is you have. That's what you're going to be doing, right? So basically, we have the workspace open. So this means go to this model in our current workspace. Picture equals, so the picture that we're going to be interacting with, ./img2.jpg. So it deals with JPEG. It deals with PNG. I do have to say, if you're worried about precision, let's say you have a large image and you want MoonDream to be able to deal with it pretty well. I didn't quite realize this, honestly, until I was working with this particular project. JPEG compresses the hell out of images. I mean, I knew JPEG compressed the hell out of images, but oh my golly, JPEG really compresses images to the point that a lot of detail is lost. So if you are going to be dealing with images where detail matters, maybe they're like a large image with a lot of things going on, .png seems to be far better for resolution. Just one of those things to be considering. Image equals, so that image function, we're going to open picture. So basically we're going to use that so we can interact with it. Encoded image equals model. So the model we're using, .encoded image and the image. So this is where we take our picture and then we turn it into something that MoonDream is able to interact with. Simply down here, caption equals model.caption, encoded image, then comma, right? So encoded image, we want to create the caption. The comma here is so it defaults to a normal length, a pretty long length caption. You can put in after this short, and it will give you a shorter caption. I'll give you an example of that. And then that's all there is. Then we simply print out the full caption. So again, that's going to be a dictionary. Simply I say caption and what the caption is. And then in order to get the caption itself, so caption, and that's going to give us the caption itself. And that's what makes this work. So you've already seen getting the normal length caption. So let's do a short caption. So basically what I can do is I can go here, right? And then I do short, right? So all I'm doing is I'm simply saying I want a short caption instead of a normal length caption. Whatever that actually means. I'm not sure what that actually means. And then we're going to hit run again. I'm going to do a bit of my white boy dance as we do this, because this is the first class in the series. And you get to get the full enjoyment of how long this takes. So you're sitting there going, I don't understand. I have like a $20,000 computer, and this is still kind of slow. It's like, yep. The answer is yes. There we go. So this is a short answer. So you can see it's a lot shorter than it was. Two men, one in a black hoodie and the other in a blue hoodie, smile warmly in a rustic wooden room with a brick wall and wooden shelves. This is how you're able to get captions, either the normal version or the short version, and then from here you can take this information, you can dump it into a database, you can print it out onto an HTML web document, whatever it is, now that you have this information. So that's all there is to using the caption function. Now one of the things I do want you to be thinking about as you use this particular function is it's impressive. Do not get me wrong, it's incredibly impressive. I do question how useful it is though, right? You think about that caption that you're getting. How many terms in there are searchable, right? So if you want to create a database for all your images, basically have the taxonomy, how much text in there is searchable? How much of it is actually useful if you want to start building, a bigger product that has images involved? One of the things that I would say is with the caption feature is it does give you something that is technically impressive, but also possibly technically not overly useful. There's something called the query function we're going to talk about in a little bit. I think the query function is probably a better bet for most of the projects that you're going to be doing. But this is how the caption function works, and it's pretty easy for you to start playing with.